How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Geeking Out, where we basically discuss everything in the nerd and geek community. Tonight, we are doing another segment on knowing that artist, and tonight I'm joined here by Dragon Tailz Creation. How are we doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing really well. So, this segment's basically about getting to know the artist themselves, like how long they've been doing this, what got them into it, and talk about other artworks they've done along with, as you're currently whatever you're drawing at the moment. So to begin, how long have you been doing this for?
I've done traditional artwork most of my life. Like in high school and stuff, I've always kind of been that kid that everyone goes to for, doodling class and stuff. But since the pandemic started, really, I've decided to just kind of get into more digital artwork. Started using my iPad instead of just using it as like a TV, as a drawing tablet instead.
I mean, I know a lot of people usually use their tablets anyway because it's cheaper than just buying a art tablet.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of part of the decision making when it came to getting an art tablet, was looking at the price of like a Wacom tablet versus just outright buying an iPad.
Plus, I'm sure, it's easier to download the art program. And you said you were using Procreate for today.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
How long have you been using Procreate for?
Since I've had the iPad, so since about 2019, I would say.
Nice. And who are you drawing today?
No one in specific, honestly. Just doodling some random person. I guess if it looks like somebody, then that works out.
Nice. So, what got you into wanting to do this?
Really, just looking at other people's artwork and seeing the kind of interesting things you can do with digital art, and just trying to take it in a way that I could with my own traditional artwork. Really, I'm super into games like Doom and Dark Souls, where there's like very heavily uh, very fantasy kind of games, and so I kind of wanted to see if I could introduce my that kind of a world into my artwork in a way that is easier to do than if I did it on with traditional artwork, if that makes any sense.
Nice. You actually noticed your Master Chief helmet that you did. Oh,
Thank you.
at con.
Yeah.
So, what was the inspiration behind doing that for Master Chief helmet?
So I actually did kind of like a series of stickers with that one, where I took games that are very heavily male dominant kind of video games like Halo and Doom and Skyrim, where there's a really big male audience, but I know as a woman myself who plays those games, to kind of take those characters and put like a feminine twist on them, that's a little bit more appealing to me personally.
Makes sense. Now, let's see here. How long does it usually take you to draw stuff like that, like the helmet and like the stuff you draw for your stickers?
For the stickers that I did, especially for Anime Medford, they took me anywhere between like an hour and 2 hours just to draw them and color them and finish them. Most of the time that I take to make any of my designs is actually spent thinking on the design, which I would say honestly takes a couple of days to try and figure out. Because at that point, you're like, I'm not really sure even what to do here.
Um, what would you say the longest art piece you've done was, in your opinion?
Um, for digital art or traditional?
I guess we'll start with traditional.
Traditional art, I did I was in a painting class at the college I go to this last fall term, and we were tasked with recreating a master's painting. And what I did for that painting, for that project, was I did a recreation of a scene from Lord of the Rings, where you're looking at the Witch King of Angmar against a big snowy mountain, and there's a whole horde of orc armies coming down the mountain. So I painted that on a
Nice.
6 foot canvas,
Six
and
foot
it took,
canvas?
Yeah, it
Oh,
takes up like
jeez.
my whole. It's huge. But that took me almost the entire class, so about 6 weeks.
Oh, jeez. That's a pretty big painting in itself, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty big, and we just keep it in the living room. Honestly, I don't know if I'll ever get rid of that one.
I mean, it's I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to get rid of it, especially if it took you that long and it's that big of a canvas.
Yeah.
Now, with the person you're drawing and everything, when it comes to like human shaped faces, is it easy to always draw a human shaped face, or is there like some challenges that come with that?
For me personally, I think drawing humans is a lot easier than drawing really anything else. Just because I human faces kind of come naturally to me when it comes to drawing. It's never really been something that I've super struggled with. But I mean, if you were to ask me to draw like a cat or something, I'd say I'd honestly stutter and be like, I don't really know what to do there.
Humans good, animals bad. Duly noted. Now when it comes to human anatomy, and I know a lot of art. This is like kind of a double-edged question. How easy is it when it comes to drawing hands or feet on characters?
Um, Pretty difficult, I would say, just because it's a anatomy that's really difficult to get perfectly right every single time. Especially in the classes I've taken here in college and in high school. That's something that even your art teachers don't really ever touch on, and they're like, every man for himself, because I don't even know either. Um, but I mean, I've done a lot of artwork that include hands and feet, and I've done studies on my own trying to figure it out myself. And I would say, like, as a piece of advice to any other like upcoming artists or people who struggle in that area, is to just practice over. I mean, it's gonna look pretty horrible the first 500 times, but if you just keep doing it, eventually you kind of just figure it out, and it becomes like a second nature, honestly.
Nice. Now the things on her head that you're drawing are those horns?
Yeah, I guess we're going with the demon lady today.
I mean, it looks pretty well. It looks pretty good. I,
Thanks.
so what kind of pencil style are you using?
So the brush I'm currently using, let me stop doing it with this and get out of that also, and out of this also. Got a notification and I actually clicked on it. Um, I'll give that a second in case you need to edit that out in
H.
post.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's for HB pencil. Is that the one you usually use the most, or?
So when I'm sketching in Procreate, this is my favorite pencil to go with, especially because it honestly is a lot like a regular pencil
Yeah,
in
I was
that if
gonna
you keep going
say
over
it has
it.
like that smooth stroke and everything, like if you're actually using a pencil.
Yeah, that. And if you, I mean, I don't have an actual Apple Pencil, I use a third party pencil, but even then, if you keep going over it,
Oh yeah,
you're
no,
gonna build up
you can
color.
definitely like see it. So when you do the outline, do you use the same brush or do you use a thicker brush?
When I start doing outlines, sometimes I will use I only use the stock brushes, by the way. I usually will use Oberon in the drawing. Um, if
Okay.
I'm doing like kind of a rustic kind of look, and then if I wanted it to be cleaner, I'll go into inking and do the technical pen
Oh
for
wow.
more smoother lines.
Oh wow.
But I
Now,
usually do my sketch in HB.
nice. Now I noticed that at Anna Medford and Meadowlark you had like little clay figures. Did you make those yourself?
Yes, actually. Uh, I also like to sculpt, not only draw. So through the month of July, I was kind of stuck at home a lot. So I just started sculpting little dragons out of polymer clay, and then I made way too many. I was like, I guess we're gonna sell these too. Why not?
No, because well, I also consider that part of like this whole get to know that artist thing. How long does it usually take you just to make like one of your little tiny dragons?
A good couple of hours from start to finish. What I'll do is I'll just kind of take a piece of clay and just mess with it until I figure out what I think it's gonna be. And from start to finish, yeah, I would say good like 3 or 4 hours.
Nice. Now, have you ever like sketched out ideas for any clay figures?
I haven't actually. I really just kind of put clay in front of myself and just make something, and as I'm making it, I'll think of little details to add, like little horns or, you know, do the paws a different color, or give it spots or stripes or something else.
Nice. What would you say like the hardest detail is on your clay dragons?
Um, the smallest details are actually the most difficult part. So like when I put the little tiny horns on, they're so small that it really makes it difficult to try and get them placed exactly how I want them to be. Um, Considering my hands are normal size and the horn that I'm trying to place in them are honestly they're millimeters small.
Oh, wow. Now, since you've done conventions, what was it like going to your first convention as a vendor?
It was definitely a way different experience than it is to normally just attend. Um, it's not any more stressful and it's not any less fun. I actually had a blast at Anime Medford, and it's something that I would rather keep doing than just attending as a guest. I would much rather vend. I got to meet and talk with so many people, and we actually ended up making a lot of friends while we were there at the con. And
Nice.
generally, it was a pretty fun experience.
Yeah.
Only difference is I didn't get to experience as much as I wanted to. I didn't really get to attend any like conferences or panels.
Nice. And again, I have to thank you for wanting to be interested in this series as well. Just main, like I said, it's to show off an artist's skills, what they do, how long they've been doing this stuff for, and everything like that.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. I'm still kind of a small artist, but
Well, that really doesn't matter. Like I said, the point behind this is to show, you don't have to be a well-known artist to be on here. You could be any kind of, skill level. It's, as long as you enjoy this and, you're passionate about it, that's all that really matters. And again, I'll definitely be making sure with your permission to put, links to your art page and everything so people can check out your art and everything.
yeah, and thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Now, any advice you like to give for first-time artists out there who are considering doing this for conventions and whatnot?
Um, I would say to be overly prepared. If you're a maker or even just an artist, you're just wanting to sell art prints, I would say come over prepared. If you're planning on making and selling 20 prints, make 40 and try and sell 40. Um, for sure, definitely over plan. And another thing I would say too to people who are wanting to get into con selling, is be friendly. Don't be scared to talk to people just because they're strangers. If you see somebody who's just kind of looking at your booth, but they're walking by, say hi, introduce yourself, and just by being friendly, you might have changed the mind in that one person so that, they might not have bought something until you talked to them. If you see somebody looking at your booth and they're in a cosplay and you sell something of the character they're cosplaying, say, hey, I've got a sticker with Hatsune Miku on it and you're dressed as her. Look, check it out.
Nice. Now, I also noticed at Anna Medford that you were drawing like holographic decals as well.
Yeah, that's kind of most of what I do is I make car decals and stickers using Cricut and adhesive vinyl.
Nice. So, how do you go about drawing those?
Some of them I actually don't draw just because there's I would say there's pictures of certain things that there's not really a point in drawing. Like No Face is a perfect example. Like I could draw him, or I could just it's like this. It's gonna be the same exact picture no matter what you do because uh his whole design is not not a really there's not really a way to uniquely make a take on that. Um, but the ones that I do draw, you just kind of have to find a picture of a character and then think of it without any kind of 3D details, and then put it into Procreate and make it into a 2D image that you can just cut and not have to worry about so many. You have to like kind of delete any kind of small details, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Now onto the topic of commissions. What is what is the weirdest commission someone's ever asked you to do? That's appropriate for this. That's appropriate, I should say.
Uh, Most of the commissions I get are actually from the furry community, like just recreating people's Fursonas.
Nice. I've actually
Because
I've seen a few of those on your Instagram.
thank you. So that's what I mostly get as far as commissions go. And I would say the weirdest one, well, I guess it's not really that weird, but it is kind of unique. He asked me for a picture of his Fursona, which is it was a rooster named Sriracha. So it was like a, like a hot sauce.
Yeah, I know exactly which. Yeah, the hot sauce with the picture of the rooster and everything.
Oh yeah, it was the exact rooster from the Sriracha hot bottle, and he asked me to make his Fursona play hockey.
I'm picturing that right now. It's just too funny.
Yeah, it was it was really fun. You know, I mean I don't ever shame people for whatever they commission me for. I'll do whatever. But that one was pretty unique and a lot of fun to do, to be honest.
Nice. Now, I imagine when you sell your commissions, there are people or people who ask you for commissions. There are those gonna be those people who want it done for free.
Yeah. And what I on Sundays, what I actually try to do, for especially for people who are like newer to the furry community, or you know they just have an idea in their head that they just need to get on paper, but they can't really afford to commission, you know, $30. On Sundays, I actually do character creations for free. If you can get a hold of me in time enough to do it, and I just do them on Sundays. So I mean, if anybody's listening and they, you know, you have an idea for a character, I do them for free on Sundays. And I mean, eventually I'll stop doing them. But I just, you know, if you just have something you need to just kind of figure out, I'm always free to help you figure that out. And I know that there's some people that, you know, have a hard time with money or, you know,
No,
you're just in a situation and you just want to figure something out.
I totally understand.
I don't like to exclude people.
No, I just recently saw you like you're like drawing like a straight line thing, and then you were able to turn it around to match the hair. How did you do that?
Oh, so in Procreate, if you're drawing a straight line and it's not all the way straight and you press and hold it, you can actually,
Whoa, that's pretty
uh,
cool.
as long as you're holding it down, you can move it around and keep it perfect. It'll autocorrect it to be perfectly straight.
I imagine that comes in handy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, especially when drawing like hair
Oh, yeah, no, I
or
just like
buildings.
like you're doing right now. That's pretty nifty. Do you have to like click a button or something, or how do you like? Or you see to click onto the line itself and it just straightens out?
Yeah, so when you're drawing the line, you just press and hold it. So
Oh,
right now I'm
okay.
not lifting my pen up at all. I'm just keeping it touching the screen.
Oh, that's pretty nifty.
Yeah. The things you learn watching YouTube tutorials.
Oh yeah, no, I think a lot of artists have to thank YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty though. Now, this is a question I usually ask other artists. Have you ever had to deal with copyright, like someone's try to claim your art as their own?
I actually haven't really run into that kind of an issue yet, and I hope that I never have to deal with that. But I'm sure one day I will.
Nice. Now, what would you say out of all the artwork you've done, what would you say your favorite piece of work was?
My favorite for sure would have to be, and I had a print of it at the convention with me. I did a drawing of Shinobu, not too long ago, and yeah, that she's absolutely my favorite. That's my favorite.
Who's she
work I've
from
ever
again?
done. She's from Demon Slayer.
I'm trying to. Is she the one with the butterflies?
Yes,
Okay, I haven't fully gone that far in the anime, but it's like the name sounded familiar.
that's okay. It's
Um,
hard to know all of them, but she's like a butterfly ninja. Super cool.
nice. Now, this is a question I usually ask cosplayers. I usually ask them the same question: what's your favorite? What would you say like your least favorite one was that you ever draw? Like it took you longer than expected, and there was just so much frustration or trial and error with it.
I did a picture of Diva from Overwatch not too long ago, and that was honestly my worst nightmare. It was not very fun to draw, and I just couldn't get it right for some reason, and I just kind of rushed it and was like, I'm done doing this now.
Nice. What other difficulties would you say come with doing digital art?
Most of it is like technical frustration, especially being that I've done traditional art the majority of my life, is, you have an idea and you want something to look a certain way, but there's like a technical barrier where you just can't figure out how to translate that into a digital piece. Um, and I mean, that goes away obviously with practice, and I'm absolutely like not perfect at using Procreate either, and I come across that a lot. But the more you kind of figure out how to use your tools and what you have at hand, you kind of just figure it out.
Nice. I also like the skin tone that you're giving this demon as well.
Thank you. I think red's probably fitting.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it works with a lot of demons. If you think of like Nymph from Lower Olympus, she has red skin.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's see here. So you're also, like you said, you're known for drawing Fursonas. What would you say the biggest Fursona project is that you've ever done? Whether it's a commission or just something you wanted to do yourself.
Um, Probably the things that I actually do for myself, and only because I do so much stuff for other people that it takes me forever to get to my own things. So the project with my own character has just taken me months to try to get to.
But I imagine when it comes to doing your own like projects for yourself, I imagine you still get some enjoyment out of that though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you can just have full artistic freedom to do whatever you want, it's definitely a lot more satisfying than always doing commissions and other people's work. I mean, you have artistic freedom doing that also, but you're also limited because you're doing somebody else's character. It already looks a certain way.
Right. And also brings me back to the copyright. Has someone ever accused you of copyright?
Um, no, actually, not yet. I haven't really um done anything really that dissimilar to anybody else's kind of creation, but I'm sure as I grow as an artist and have more people that look at my stuff, I'll be accused of it. But I try to be really careful, like if I were to use somebody else's base or something or someone else's character, I try really hard to make sure to credit anything.
Nice. So now I gotta ask, what came up with the idea for the My Little Pony with the monster emblem on its leg? What was the idea behind that? Like, what made you want to do something like that?
So me and my friends, super obsessed with My Little Pony since we were like kids. And so we're all making our own characters and we're all artists making our own characters and stuff to draw with each other. And so my character for myself, of course, has got a giant monster logo on her for her cutie mark, and that's just because I drink them like they're water.
Nice.
I've got a horrible addiction to caffeine. And the regular basic monster is my drink of choice.
Nice. How long did something like that take? Because it looks like you used like a lot of green.
She actually didn't really take me too long. I would say probably about an hour, hour and a half. Um, it wasn't really too hard to just draw the base of my character because My Little Pony's got a pretty easy formula to follow when it comes to that kind of stuff. Um, but I think I knew pretty like right off the bat what I wanted to do for my character. I was like, absolutely, she's got to be green with black hair. There we go.
I also like the technique you're using, how you can just click on the area you need to click on, and it just like you get the color in. But I imagine that doesn't always work. sometimes?
No. No, it doesn't always work, the autofill. And it's just because of the brush I use for the line art.
Nice.
Sometimes this doesn't work, but most of the time it does. And when you're auto selecting stuff, I'll see if I can show you a different color.
Yeah.
You can, if you hold it and then drag it left or right, you can fill, like choose the
Oh,
threshold for the color drop, so it'll drop it more or less.
okay. Nice. Now
Actually,
to the portion about talk about some of your other works of art. For example, your Princess Bubblegum. What was it like drawing her?
it was pretty fun. I feel super old now, especially because when we were at the con, me and my boyfriend were sitting there wondering why nobody was buying my Princess Bubblegum print, and we were thinking it's probably because nobody watches Adventure Time anymore. But it was super nostalgic to draw her. I mean, I kind of grew up watching Adventure Time. You know, she was always kind of a favorite character of me. Like honestly, the if you could embody um being girly but also being smart into a cartoon character, 100%. That's Princess
And
Bubblegum.
not to mention the amount of sass she has.
Oh yeah, right, totally. I mean, I would say she's definitely a character that I can. Just because I mean she's very feminine and she holds that to kind of her own standard, but she also, I mean, she's not afraid to be smart. She's not afraid to talk back. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here now. I'm trying to think of more to ask here. Um, but yeah, this piece you're doing right here doesn't seem to have taken you long to do.
No, I I just draw quickly, I guess.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, so what is it like using Procreate for your art? Do you use any other ones, or is this just the main one you use?
Um, for digital art, yeah, I pretty much only use Procreate because it's the only program that I really have. There's still a lot in the app that I have to learn though. So, I mean, whenever I do anything, even now, you always kind of figure out new tools that you can use and new ways to manipulate stuff. Like,
Def-
I only recently figured out how to use the add tool to make stuff glow. I like figured that out maybe 2 days ago,
Add tool. What's
and I think
that?
it's Let me see. So if you draw something, we'll just do this, and you go to your, I don't remember what these are called, something to do with the layer. If you put it on add and then use the Gaussian blur tool, it makes it
Oh,
glow.
oh wow! Looks like the horns. That's pretty nifty. I
Yeah,
imagine like that would, like comes in handy if like you want to like make the eyes of a character glow or something, or the background.
yeah, absolutely. I think
And
that's probably what I'm gonna do here.
speaking of backgrounds, how long does it usually take you to draw like a background? Like if you're really gonna go into full detail with the background.
On it, actually, I would say a couple of days. I mean, if I was to do something super in depth, I haven't really had the chance to do anything really crazy like landscape wise on Procreate recently, just because I've been kind of focused on getting ready for conventions and just focusing on fan art and then also my commissions that I do. But it honestly takes a couple of days.
Nice. I mean, that's like I said, that's pretty impressive though. Like how quick you're able to get this down, but also give it that amount of detail for such a character as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Um, I've got lots of ideas in my mind, so it doesn't really, I don't, it doesn't take me long to envision whatever I'm gonna draw, or
Nice,
especially when it comes to like fictional characters.
nice.
Uh, yeah.
Now, actually, brings me to my next question. Are there like any future? Are there any characters from like TV shows or video games or anime or anything in media general that you haven't drawn that you would like to try to draw?
Uh, I hmm. I really want to draw. I would say I really want to do more more Doom related pieces that like in the latest Doom Eternal, there's a skin that you could get where he's a unicorn. I really would like to do a big piece like that of unicorn Doom guy, just so that I could, just for myself though. I probably wouldn't sell it. I would just keep it, frame it, put it in my house.
Kind of like your Doom helmet sticker that you draw with it, like that pastel color.
Yeah, yeah. I would actually really like to do something like that at some point. Just
Nice.
takes just takes time.
Oh, I imagine, especially with the amount of detail it would go in to creating such a character. Um,
Yeah.
Now, back to the commissions. Has anyone ever tried to commission you to draw Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil? Because I know with her being such a popular character lately.
Ooh, actually, not yet, but I hope I do soon. Kind of back to the question you just asked me. I'd actually really like to do more Resident Evil style artwork. Um, at the convention, I actually had one sticker that was of Propeller Guy from Resident Evil 8, but nobody knew that's what it was. I think I should have done something with Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, the boss fight before you fight Heisenberg.
Yeah, yeah. I guess maybe too far to the end of the game, so nobody could beat it. I don't know.
Oh no,
Too
I mean
hard. Who
that's
knows?
that would be pretty. That would be a pretty interesting thing to see. I mean the amount of detail it would take because he's it's just basically a giant mechanical person robot thing with a giant plane engine propeller on his head.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, I just did him kind of like in a chibi style for sticker, so he was not super complex. And he's dabbing on him, but nobody really understood that. Nobody was like, "Oh, I love Resident Evil."
Yeah, I noticed you had like quite a few stickers, like a big. It was I think it was a big-headed Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan.
Yeah, yeah. I try to put. I mean, with my stuff that's like smaller like that, like my stickers, I try to put a little bit of humor in them because that's something that I would buy personally. I mean, if it was funny enough, I'll just buy it.
Nice. So what is it like? And I'm sure, um, probably the question you get all the time: is it ever easy shading and the right parts of a character?
No, absolutely not. It's never really easy. It's something I have no idea how to do it still, to be honest.
I mean,
You
it seems
try,
like
but
you're doing well. We were matching the shading where the hair and everything meets the face.
yeah. I mean, if I changed the lighting point to any direction, I'd be lost. I only know how to shade from the top right, I guess.
Now I'm kind of curious. What does this character look like if it didn't have the black outlines?
If it didn't,
Yeah.
probably scary.
Oh wow.
Probably really scary. We're not gonna do that.
No.
She's gotta have eyes.
But still, I think that technique's pretty cool when it doesn't show the outlines. It shows how much detail you went into with the picture and everything.
Oh yeah. What I like to do so that you're not having to go through and fill stuff in too much is I'll make a clipping mask over my line art layer
A
and
clipping
take the
mask.
yeah. So it's like a layer that only will color on the layer below it.
Oh, like you're doing right now with the shading.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
the exact same thing, and then I'll take like a darker color and color in the line art like that,
Oh, to kind of give
and it
it.
kind of makes it disappear or like blend together just a little bit
It basically
without
would
giving.
like match the skin. Like if you were to use it on the outline near her skin and everything, the outline would match her skin.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like what they like doing in some cartoons and everything.
Yeah, yeah, I think the exact same technique they use in a lot of cartoons, like My Little Pony, for example, where the outline is just like a slightly darker color than the rest of the image.
Kind of like you did with your Master Chief and Doom Guy helmet.
Yeah, yeah, I use the same technique for those.
Nice. So like I said, I'm still looking at your art because it gives me questions to ask. What was the reason behind your version of the strawberry double-headed cow?
Um, it's just something that I really like. I collect oddities like I collect a lot of fossils and like bones and stuff. And honestly, my dream piece to have would totally be a taxidermied two-headed calf. And there's quite a few that exist in the world, but I definitely do not have one of them. And
I
so it's kind of an
I
inspiration
believe
for that.
they exist. I've like seen pictures of it online and everything.
Yeah, yeah, they totally exist. I want one, but that was most of my inspiration for that.
Nice. So probably got about two more questions here. So, how do you go about pricing your artwork when some people are like wanting to buy it? Like, how do you go about pricing that?
How I price my artwork is I really only go off of how much I want to pay myself per hour. So like when I was pricing like my stickers, I had to take into account of how much I spent total on all of the materials to make them, and then how much time it took me to put them together, draw them, and everything. And then I usually take a couple bucks off just because if I did that, I'd be making way too much. So even when it comes to commissions, I only I kind of go off of a base price based off of how long I think it would take me to do something related.
Nice. Now, if I see you're like adding layers and layers, what would you say the most amount of layers you've ever added was to an art piece?
Probably like 50.
50. What was the 50 for?
Trying to think. I've definitely done it before. Um, a lot of the fan art pieces that I do, that's where they end up. Obviously, I kind of cut them down so they're not, towards the end. I start blending them in together. Um, but they start out with about 50 layers because I have a different layer for every single color, every single like piece of artwork, so I can have an easier time shading it. And then I'll have another layer on top of that that's a clipping mask so that I'm able to shade it and manipulate the blending mode and everything.
I mean, this again, this is really impressive, and I imagine it just, like you said, it didn't seem to take you long. You got it all really down, like in the course of 40 minutes.
Tried to be quick. I
Hey,
didn't. I felt like it would be weird if I started something and then
of course,
it wasn't finished
don't
by
forget
the
your
end.
signature.
Yeah.
I think that should about do it. I think actually the last thing is any last minute thing you want to add to this for those who are listening.
Um, I don't think so. I would just say thanks for, giving me a little bit of attention, and a little bit of a spotlight to try and get my name out there.
Hey,
Um,
no
you know,
worries. It's like I said, it's always always support your local artists and everything too.
right. Well, yeah. Thank you. I know I'm not the best or a professional artist or anything, but I do put a lot of work into everything that I do, and most of it is stuff that comes from my heart. So
Yeah, that's all that really matters. Again, Dragon Tailz Creation, thank you for coming on for this geeking out segment of knowing that artist.
thank you.
Of course. Again, I am Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for watching this episode of Geeking Out. Until next time, thank you for listening, and also thank you for watching.